What is up, guys? Worst of the worst. Not really the worst of the worst, but she she locked up on me. I was doing a little ride out with some Grom guys. I'll have the footage of that up whenever. But I got her bump started and tried to limp her home, and I felt the bottom end lock. So I think I dropped the valve. I'm hoping it didn't cause too much damage. Like, I'm hoping the cylinder's fine and the head doesn't have too many dings that I can't get rid of. But I mean, if so, I'll have to sit on it a little. I already have the valve kit for the stainless steel conversion, but this was bound to happen from pushing it on the titanium valves that were lapped. You're not supposed to lap them. Definitely takes the reliability down and the, overall how long the bike will last. But like an idiot, I lapped them. Wasn't supposed to, but I was willing to deal with the consequence anyway. It was definitely fun for the time being, but now it's time for an entire engine overhaul. So she'll go back in pretty much brand new, and hopefully this doesn't happen ever again. But until then, I shall see you guys in the next one. Alright guys, I finally made it back to the house. I had I called my friend, told him I was stranded. He contacted his father, who showed up with the pickup, and we got her back to the house. So, I noticed that I don't see any oil. I know you guys are probably thinking, like, this kid is stupid. Like, why doesn't he check these things? The oil was good. I did leak out a lot of oil. I think the case is definitely warped. I was saying before that I think a valve let go, but the way it felt, I'm not sure it was a valve. It felt like, like it still goes, like the gears are still there, but the motor is locked. So the fact that the kickstart is locked, I think that that's telling me either there is a drop valve that's blocking it, or the rod bearing seized up due to the lack of oil, the high temperature, and the high RPMs. Radiators, they were good. The bike wasn't too hot. I mean, I'll give it a check right now, but no, I mean, you can see in there, I didn't overheat. I had no coolant loss, so wasn't the overheating problem. I did lose some bolts due to vibration, but that's nothing. So yeah, that's the two things I'm thinking. Either a valve dropped or my rod bearing needs to be replaced. I'd honestly be more happier if it was the rod. Because if the rod seized, then that means the head is just going to need the valves and guides replaced, as I was going to do, as per usual. But if it's the I could, if it's the rod, I could just replace the crank or send the crank out to KTM to have it rebuilt and balanced. But if it's the head, like I said, if that valve got bent up and banged around and caused some more mayhem, then I'm not going to be a happy camper. So I'm going to be obviously disassembling her to see what it was, and fingers crossed that this isn't pricey. I mean, whatever happens, I mean, obviously, I'm just going to have to replace or repair whatever the damages are. But I'm going to make sure when she goes back together, she is tip-top. She'll have stainless steel valves this time, which I won't have to check as frequently, and they're not going to tulip and flare out against the steel seats. It'll make the bike more reliable. The maintenance schedule would be extended. But yeah, there's definitely some oil there. There was oil on my rear wheel. It was a little slick on the right side, like it was doing when it was leaking oil out of the case before. But long story short, the bike failed out when I was trying to limp her home. She did stall and lost compression, so I don't know. I'm hoping it's not something too big. The loss of compression made me think it was the valves, but then the crank being locked made me think it could be the rod. So who knows? We'll figure it out, and then, I'll update you guys. But until then, I'll see you guys soon. Alright guys, so we're back in the garage and I'm finally gonna start disassembling this thing and getting it all up on the table back there to see what's going on. This bike is street legal, registered, insured and all that, so my goal is to get it back up and running as soon as possible. I canceled my trip to Virginia and yeah, I'm going to be assessing this, so I'm going to throw this camera up on a time lapse and just get right into it. I took the side cases off to check to make sure it wasn't like magnets on the flywheel that was in the motor, because there was metal fragments inside on the drain bolt, the magnetic one. So I'm going to set this camera up on a time lapse and we're going to start digging into this bike. Alright, and as you guys can see, she is fully disassembled down to the bare frame, minus like the foot pegs, roller, brake arm. But other than that, she's a bare frame. I got a mess of parts up here, the rear setup back there, and yeah, so I'm gonna take a quick break and organize everything, get everything all cleaned up, set up, you know, looking clean again, and then we'll pick back up. Alright guys, as you've seen, I got everything fully disassembled, front and rear end. Got the frame here, subframe up on the desk over there. Got this beauty on the table. Well, she's not a beauty right now, but she will be. And then all the gadgets that go attached to everything else. So, this was just a disassembly video, letting you guys know what happened, why the bike's being disassembled, and why the motor's on the table. Yeah, I was just cruising around. The bike was getting hot, but it wasn't overflowing or anything. It didn't overheat. Um, I was cruising. I was, you know, coming down hills. I would coast with the bike in neutral. I coasted with the bike in neutral and didn't hear the bike anymore. So when I let the clutch out, the bike fired back up, meaning it stalled. And then I bump started it. And I came to the intersection coming out of Riverhead. And as soon as I grabbed in the clutch, because we were coming into traffic, the motor started bogging like crazy. I was like hitting the throttle, trying to keep it up. It was just dying and dying and dying, and then finally died. The bike had like no compression. I was like, I'm screwed. But then everyone that I was with was like, you know what? Let's give them a push. Maybe we could get it bump started. So I let the bike cool for like 20 minutes, and then I bump started it, and I was gone. I hit the highway. I was gone. I got one exit away until I started hearing a bunch of like not clanking, like obviously the cases aren't broken or anything, nothing came through anywhere, but I heard some turbulence inside this motor. I was just like, whew, please don't let it be the worst. And I almost got hit by a car. You know, I was happy the car seen me and maybe knew something was up, because I kept looking down at the bike, and I had to cut the car off to get to the side, because the next car, I don't know how fast it would have been going. And then the bike didn't necessarily like lock up, like wheel skid and slide in full on lock up. The bike was moving forward, but you can tell that it was having trouble. And then when I came to the stop, I dropped it in neutral. It went into neutral fine. So you know, hopefully the transmission is okay and it wasn't something like that. There was a bunch of metal on the drain plug. I don't know, it could be anything. There was no oil when I checked. What you guys saw in that bowl over there was all the oil that was in it, but that I filled with antifreeze as well. There was like pretty much no oil in the motor, so either the rod could have seized, which I'm hoping for, because if the rod's seized and everything up here is fine, cylinder fine, I'll be happy, and I'll just get the rod replaced. But I do have a rebuild kit for the head, the Kibble White kit. So I'm just hoping it's not like a bunch of tarnish up here, or the cylinder all scorn up, or anything broken that just caused mayhem down here. But it could be anything. You know, it literally could be anything. The Kickstarter was stuck. That's not a good sign. So with that said, I'm going to end the video here. And in the next one, like I said, I'll be disassembling the motor to find out what went on, how much I'm going to be paying. And yeah, we'll get into that when the time comes. So thanks again for watching, guys. If you guys are new to the channel and want to see more of this sumo action, click that subscribe button and stay tuned. This video might come out before I put my riding footage, just because it was so fast. I had the bike for like not even a month as a Supermoto, and then catastrophe. Like it was so bad. But I might throw some clips of me riding and stuff like that in another video, and just, you know, make it like something like stupid, like fun on the sumo. And then, you know, this video will make more sense if that does come before or after that. So like I said, stay tuned. If you guys have any comments, leave that in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up. Yeah, and I will, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.